The world today faces a multitude of challenges. The population is increasing and projected to grow to 9 billion in 2050. In a world where the food supply chain encounters greater challenges than ever, with less and less land available for farming and food production, with growing concerns regarding climate change, environmental impact, and animal welfare. Where resources are limited, while the demand for healthy and nutritious food continues to rise. Price volatility affects farm finance as well as feed efficiency. Future-proofing our food production systems is inevitable. Today's audience includes hatchery managers, livestock directors, CEOs, owners, and other stakeholders of the global poultry industry. An industry known for the production of affordable, versatile, and responsible animal protein. Future-proofing the poultry industry, your company, your hatchery, must be a top priority. Innovation and technology must play an important role in that process. I suppose many of you have signed in for today to find out how to raise the bar even further. So, let's not wait any longer. My name is Wouter, and I'm your host for today. Next to me is Joost de Heert, Commercial Director at HatchTech Incubation Technology. From what I've heard, the revolution HatchTech will be revealing today is a combination of innovation, technology, and perhaps a little courage.
I like that. Innovation, technology, and courage. And yes, it does take guts to challenge the way everyone has been working for decades. To challenge what is considered a standard. And that is exactly what HatchTech stands for.
And why is that?
Well, we believe in a better way of doing things, better for all parties involved, and in pushing technology to its limits to reach that better way. That is why we introduced HatchCare, the first hatcher with feed, fresh water and light. Since the introduction 10 years ago, millions of chickens have benefited from an optimal start. They experienced improved animal welfare conditions. With HatchCare, chickens performed better and less antibiotics were used at farm level. Feed conversion ratios also improved drastically, making broiler meat production more efficient. That is also why HatchTech introduced Respect. With Respect, we challenged the traditional way of working in the egg-laying industry. Respect in ovo gender identification secures an egg supply chain without killing the male on the day of hatch. And that is why today we are introducing SetCare, a new setter that improves hatching performance with an incubation process of 24 days.
Well, that's interesting because historically, incubation takes 21 days. So why 24?
Well, as mentioned before, we believe in a better way of doing things. The incubation process is one of these things. We all know that a relatively large percentage of embryos dies early in the incubation process. In the industry, this is seen as unavoidable. HatchTech discovered through research that embryos die unnecessary. They die because the incubation process is not optimal. Our research team discovered that an incubation process of 24 days will prevent unnecessary embryo deaths. SetCare will increase hatchability by 3%, with an overall better chick quality and overall improved field performance. Therefore, I'm very proud to reveal our new incubator, SetCare, because optimal incubation takes 24 days.
So there it is, the first setter with an optimal incubation process, 24 days. The patented SetCare, a new perspective to incubation. And to explain it to us in more detail, I give the floor to Dr. Unveiling, poultry incubation researcher at HatchTech.
Thank you. Our team has conducted research in the past 5 years, leading to this 24 days incubation process. Like Joost already mentioned, our goal was to tackle the loss of embryos early in the incubation process. This is indeed a major challenge in poultry incubation. Embryos die during various stages of incubation. The percentage of embryo mortality, as demonstrated in this graph, is generally accepted as the targets by our industry. You can see that most embryos die early. Actually, 50% of the total embryo loss occurs during the first 3 days of incubation. In our industry known as early deaths. For younger flocks and for longer egg storage, these numbers are even higher than 50%. These high losses during the first stages of incubation have always been accepted in our industry, because we believed it was normal and unavoidable. However, we questioned ourselves if this is really the case. Can incubation be optimized to solve this problem? To answer that question, we conducted 51 studies in the past 5 years, using 1.1 million eggs. The overall conclusion of all these studies is that warming eggs extremely slowly minimizes these early deaths and maximizes hatchability. This extreme slow warming stretches the total incubation period to 24 days. Let's take a brief look at the daily practice in hatcheries. Eggs are taken from the cold egg storage room and preheated to an incubation temperature of 100 Fahrenheit. We all assumed that 100 Fahrenheit is where the embryo starts to develop. This is where we go wrong, because it overlooks embryo development below 100 Fahrenheit. We found that significant development of an embryo already starts at 85 Fahrenheit. Forget preheating. Incubation starts at 85 Fahrenheit. Our studies show that starting up development from 85 Fahrenheit onwards should be done extremely slowly and in combination with high relative humidity and high CO2 levels. At the start of incubation, egg temperature should be increased by only 0.1 Fahrenheit per hour. To compare, in current practice, eggs are warmed by approximately 1.5 Fahrenheit per hour, or even more. So at least 15 times faster than what we found to be optimal. To realize this extreme slow warming, the temperature of the air in the incubator should be controlled precisely and must be uniform within the entire machine. This uniformity within one large incubator, as are used by our industry, can only be achieved if heating and cooling are controlled perceptually. If not, the benefit for the embryo is lost and early embryo mortality cannot be prevented. This 24-day incubation process in SetCare decreases the high number of early deaths and therefore increases hatchability by at least 3% in an average flock and with short egg storage, so under 7 days. In long stored eggs, the benefits will be even bigger. Besides a higher hatchability, our research also confirms that 24 days of incubation leads to significant improvements of chick quality. Zooming in on the quality of the hatched chickens. At our research and testing facility in the Netherlands, we have compared traditionally incubated chickens with SetCare chickens. Trial results show that chickens incubated with SetCare demonstrate improved uniformity, higher slaughter weight, and improved feed conversion rate. This research proves that we are not just rescuing some poor early deaths with SetCare, but instead, 24 days of incubation benefits the quality of all your chicks. These years of research with numerous studies and consistent findings of better hatchability, better chick quality, and better field performance proves that optimal incubation of chicken eggs does not take 21 days, but 24 days.
Thank you, Jan, for this inspiring explanation and for summarizing all these years of research in just a few minutes. Joost, what does this mean to everyone who's watching? How does this impact their business?
What it means is that these additional 3 days can make a huge difference for hatcheries and for farmers. For example, a hatchery produces 2 million chicks per week. An increase in hatchability by 3% means that from the same resources, a hatchery can produce 60,000 more chicks each week, with an average chick price of 35 cents. This means an increase of profit over 20,000 per week, or $1 million per year. All because we optimized the incubation process. Obviously, improved feed conversion ratios and higher slaughter weights mean that SetCare chicks are financially interesting at farm level as well.
Besides the financial benefits, how does this help future-proof the food industry?
As you stated earlier, resources are becoming limited. Therefore, efficiency is essential for future-proof production. Lower embryo mortality is obviously better from an ethical perspective. We simply help embryos to survive, whereas they traditionally would die. It also means we use less resources to produce the same number of chicks. Less hatching eggs is less breeders, is a lower footprint. The same goes for the improved feed conversion rates of SetCare chicks. We need less feed to produce meat, which means we are saving resources.
So in other words, HatchTech introduces again a better way of doing things.
It is exactly what I meant. With SetCare, we do it again. We are setting a new standard. SetCare shows that as an industry, we can do better. We can raise the bar even further with innovation, technology and courage.
I can imagine that our audience can't wait to learn more about SetCare. Where can they find more information?
Of course, we are happy to tell everybody about SetCare and what it could mean for our customers' individual situation. That is why we will organize SetCare Days later this year at our new headquarters in the Netherlands. During these days, we will provide more information about SetCare, including lecturers from Dr. Jan Wijnen and his colleagues from research. Of course, you will be able to see SetCare with your own eyes, and obviously, your sales manager is present to explore commercial opportunities for your own business. Meanwhile, you can always contact us, visit our website or social media for more information.
Well, that's one event we wouldn't want to miss. So stay tuned for more information and keep an eye on your mailbox for the invitation to the SetCare Days. For now, I'd like to thank you all for your attention and hope you've been inspired by SetCare, and let's keep on raising the bar together. Don't settle for less.